She told Blueface no one comes before him. Not Nevaeh, not Chrisean, nobody. And Blueface appeared to agree. That's the moment that changed everything. Because India didn't ease into this situation. She stepped into a relationship already filled with baby mothers, history, and drama. And instead of staying quiet, she made her expectations clear from day one.
Cause you ain't gotta worry about that dumbass shit no more because I'm already here and I'm not going no motherfucking where. Act like you know, nigga, not like you slow, nigga.
Okay.
I'm not gonna keep saying it, not gonna keep talking about it, not gonna keep going round and round about it either.
The pretty girls out there are more like normal. So
cause you ain't gotta worry about that dumbass shit no more because I'm already here and I'm not going no motherfucking where, so. Act like you know, nigga, not like you slow, nigga.
Okay.
Not gonna keep saying it, not gonna keep talking about it, not gonna keep going round and round about it.
Everyone else needed to fall in line. No exceptions, no negotiations. And while all of this was unfolding, Nevaeh was home caring for their newborn while Blueface was out establishing this new relationship with India. In public, in real time. Two women. Same man. Two completely different responses. India appears to be positioning herself for a serious place in Blueface's life. And there's already speculation about whether that future could eventually include a child together. Meanwhile, Nevaeh addressed the situation on livestream and made it clear where her focus was, it is what it is. I'm going to make it about the baby and cherish our baby. And that contrast raises the bigger question. How serious is India about Blueface? And where does that leave Nevaeh and Chrisean? Here's exactly how India entered the picture, what she reportedly told Blueface, and why this new relationship could completely change the dynamic. India's ultimatum didn't stay behind closed doors. And that's exactly why this situation escalated the way it did. Because once word got out that India reportedly drew hard boundaries around Blueface's baby mothers, the reaction wasn't quiet. People weren't just talking about what she said. They were talking about the fact that Blueface apparently didn't shut it down. He reportedly welcomed it. And that single detail changed how people started looking at this entire situation. Here's why that matters. In Blueface's world, every woman before India has had to deal with him publicly, messily, on camera, in front of millions of people. Chrisean Rock's relationship with him played out like a reality show nobody asked for. Nevaeh has been raising their newborn while trying to stay out of the noise. So when a new woman steps in and immediately starts drawing lines around who gets access to Blueface and who doesn't, that's not a small move. That's a direct shot at everyone who came before her. And the internet noticed immediately. Reactions started splitting almost instantly. One crowd calling India smart, a woman who knows exactly what she wants and isn't afraid to say it out loud, even to a man with Blueface's track record. Another crowd calling it reckless, saying she's stepping into a situation she doesn't fully understand, one that's already swallowed two other women whole. But then came a second statement, the one that really turned the temperature up. India reportedly reinforcing that Blueface answers to no one. Not his exes, not his baby mothers, nobody, hit different. Because that's not just a boundary. That's a loyalty test. That's India making sure Blueface knows exactly where his attention should be, and who it shouldn't go to. And the fact that he reportedly responded well to it, that told people everything they needed to know about where his head is right now. This is where the narrative really shifted. It stopped being new girlfriend says something bold, and turned into new girlfriend might actually be running the show. That idea alone brought a wave of new reactions. Some people are pointing out that this is exactly how Blueface's past relationships have started. Strong, confident, all in energy right out the gate. And exactly how they've fallen apart. Others are saying this time feels different. That India's approach is more calculated, more deliberate, less about the cameras, and more about locking down her position before anyone else gets the chance. And that's when the questions about her motives really picked up speed. Because here's the thing. Nobody actually knows what India wants long-term. Is she trying to build something real with Blueface? Something stable? Something that lasts longer than the last few situations he's been in? Or is she using the platform, the chaos, the attention, to build something for herself? That's the exact question fueling every comment section right now. Meanwhile, the optics of this whole thing got worse the moment people connected the timeline. India was reportedly securing her spot at the same moment Blueface's attention was fully on her, which meant somebody else's attention wasn't being met at all. Two things were happening at once. India establishing dominance in the relationship, and a newborn baby at home with only one parent present. That contrast didn't go unnoticed. And it didn't sit well with a lot of people watching this unfold. Because regardless of what anyone thinks about India's intentions, There's a version of this story where a child is growing up in the middle of a very public power struggle before they're even old enough to understand it. And that image alone was enough to shift public sympathy in a very specific direction. At the same time, there's another layer to this that people are still processing. If India really is serious, if this isn't just talk, then setting boundaries isn't the end goal. It's the opening move. That's not a small ask. That's asking a man who already has children and history with multiple women to treat her as the priority above all of it. And that raises a bigger question sitting underneath this entire situation. Is Blueface actually capable of following through on that? Or is this the same pattern repeating itself? Big promises, bold declarations, and history showing exactly how it ends? That's still up for debate. What people do have is a growing list of reasons to keep watching. Because between the ultimatum, the loyalty test, the date night, and the widening gap between how India is moving and how everyone else is responding, this situation isn't slowing down. It's building towards something bigger. And the next part of this story is where things get even more complicated. Because up until this point, the story was about boundaries. About India setting rules and Blueface reportedly going along with them. But then the conversation shifted into something much more personal. People stopped asking what India said, and started asking why she said it. That's when the motive question really exploded. Because think about the timeline here. India steps into Blueface's world, and almost immediately, she's reportedly the one dictating terms. For someone this new to the picture, that's an aggressive move. And aggressive moves make people ask aggressive questions. Is she actually building something real? Or did she study exactly how this works? Watched how Chrisean's relationship played out publicly, watched how much attention it generated, and decided the fastest way into that spotlight was to walk in loud, confident, and unshakable? That theory picked up serious traction. Because here's the pattern people started pointing to. Every woman who's been close to Blueface has ended up part of a bigger public story. Chrisean became a headline. Nevaeh's pregnancy and their newborn became a headline. And now India, within what looks like weeks, is already generating that same kind of attention. Before anyone even knows if this relationship has real weight behind it. That's not something people are willing to write off as coincidence. So the conversation sharpens further. One camp says India's playing the long game. She knows exactly what kind of platform comes with being the one in Blueface's life, and she's positioning herself accordingly. The opposing camp pushes back hard, saying that take is unfair, that maybe she's just a woman who's confident and direct, and people are projecting motive onto something that might just be personality. Neither side is backing down. And then there's the detail that made this even messier. The reported reminder that Blueface answers to no one. Because depending on how you look at it, that line means two completely different things. To some, it's India reinforcing Blueface's ego, making sure he feels like the center of attention in a way his past relationships maybe didn't give him. To others, it's something closer to control, a way of making sure that no matter what happens with anyone else in his life, Blueface is trained to see India as the one voice that matters most. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between a woman who's supportive and a woman who's strategic. And right now, nobody watching from the outside actually knows which one India is. What we do know is how Blueface reportedly responded to it. Pleased. Receptive. According to what's circulating, he didn't push back on any of it. And that response is doing more to shape public opinion than anything India herself has said. Because if he's really that open to being told how to handle the women in his past, that says something about where his mindset is right now. Maybe he's tired of the chaos and wants exactly this kind of direction. Or maybe he's just caught up in a new relationship high, agreeing to things without thinking about what they actually mean long-term. Either way, that response is fueling the next wave of reactions. People started digging into what this actually looks like in practice. If Nevaeh and Chrisean are expected to fall back, what does that even mean day to day? Less involvement in co-parenting conversations? Less presence at events? A harder line drawn around communication? Nobody's confirmed specifics, but the fact that people are even asking these questions shows how seriously this comment is being taken. And that's when the conversation took its sharpest turn yet. Because underneath all of this, the boundaries, the loyalty test, the motive debate, there's a much bigger question that people started connecting to everything else happening in this situation. If India really is serious, if this really is about building something permanent, and not just about clout or attention, then this isn't just a relationship story anymore. It's a story about what happens when a new partner tries to completely restructure the family dynamic Blueface already has in place. One that includes multiple children, multiple mothers, and a level of public scrutiny most relationships never have to survive. And that question alone is enough to keep this story escalating. But just when the internet thought the situation couldn't get more complicated, a new detail completely changed the narrative. This is the part where the story stopped being about boundaries and turned into something much bigger. Because the new detail everyone's talking about? It's the baby. Not confirmed. Not announced. But speculation around India and Blueface potentially having a child together started spreading fast. And once that idea hit the timeline, everything before it suddenly looked different. The boundaries, the loyalty test, the whole fall in line directive. None of it reads the same once you add a possible pregnancy underneath it. Here's the confirmed public fact. Blueface already has a newborn with Nevaeh. That's not speculation. That's real, that's recent, and that's the baby Nevaeh has been raising largely on her own while this entire India situation unfolds in public. Here's what's speculation. Whether India and Blueface are actually planning a pregnancy, or whether that idea is circulating simply because of how seriously India appears to be positioning herself in his life. Nobody's confirmed a timeline. Nobody's confirmed intent. But the speculation alone was enough to shift the entire conversation. And that shift happened fast. Because up until this point, people could debate India's motives as a relationship question. Is she genuine? Is she strategic? Is she in it for the long haul? But the second a baby enters the conversation, it stops being just about Blueface and India. It pulls in Nevaeh's newborn. It pulls in Chrisean's kids. It turns this into a conversation about an entire family structure being reshaped in real time, in public, while cameras are rolling. That's a different kind of story. And the reactions proved it. Industry observers who cover this space pointed out something specific, that Blueface relationships have historically moved fast, publicly, and with major life decisions happening earlier than most people would expect. So to some, the baby speculation doesn't feel shocking. It feels consistent with a pattern people have already seen play out before with him. To others, that pattern is exactly the problem. Because if this relationship is still this new, the idea of adding a child into an already tense, already public situation raises real concerns. Not about whether it's dramatic, but about what it actually means for the kids already involved. Then came the part that really shifted public sympathy. Because at the same time all of this baby speculation is circulating, there's another layer of this story sitting quietly underneath it. India's appearance and decision-making becoming part of the public conversation. Some describing her as confident, model-like, exactly the type Blueface tends to go for. Others openly questioning her judgment, wondering whether she fully understands the situation she stepped into. That commentary got personal fast. Some saying the criticism of her intelligence is unfair and rooted in nothing but her decision to date Blueface. Others saying the questions are fair given how quickly she's positioned herself at the center of his entire life. Two separate conversations, her image and her judgment, started blending into one bigger question. Does India actually know what she signed up for? And that question got louder once people started lining up the full picture. A new relationship. A reported ultimatum. A baby mother home alone with a newborn. Public speculation about another baby potentially coming. All of it happening within what looks like a very short window of time. That's not a slow burn story anymore. That's a full-blown situation, moving faster than most people can even process it. At this stage, the public wasn't debating one thing anymore. It was reacting to everything at once. The ultimatum, the loyalty test, the date night, the baby speculation, the personal commentary on India, all stacking on top of each other in real time. And that's exactly when Nevaeh decided she wasn't staying quiet anymore. Because while all of this speculation and reaction was building, Nevaeh was still home. Still raising a newborn. Still watching this entire situation play out from the outside. And what she said next is what actually brought this story back down to earth. She didn't scream. She didn't drag anyone. She just said what she needed to say. On live stream, Nevaeh finally addressed everything. And instead of matching the chaos, she brought it back down to earth. It is what it is. I'm going to make it about the baby and cherish our baby. That's it. That's her whole response. And honestly, that composure said more than any argument could have. So here's where this leaves everyone. India's reportedly staking her claim, drawing hard lines, and positioning herself as the priority, with baby speculation already swirling. Nevaeh is choosing peace over conflict, focused on the child in front of her. Chrisean's watching from the sidelines of a situation she's been in before. And Blueface? He's the one man in the middle of all of it, reportedly agreeing to everything India's asking, while two other women navigate what that actually means for them. So I want to know, Is India building something real, or setting herself up to be the next one replaced? Is Nevaeh silent strength, or is she just tired of fighting? Drop your take in the comments, because this one's far from over. Make sure you're subscribed, because the moment there's a new development, and trust me, with this group, there will be, you're going to want to be here first. Because if this ultimatum is really as serious as it sounds, Nevaeh and Chrisean might not even see what's coming next.